This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Welcome to the Supreme Resort Land v. World, a podcast about Disneyland and Walt Disney World, and which is the Supreme Resort. Each episode, we will discuss and explore each resort, ride by ride, land by land, park by park, to determine which is better. I'm your host, Jimmy, and thank you for joining me on this quest to help the greater good of humanity answer this long, elusive question, which is better, Disneyland or Walt Disney World? Joining me to find the answer, as always, is Dan.
Hey,
Hi, Dan.
I'm Dan. You're going to pull Splash Mountain for my cold, dead hands.
And Eric.
My hands are also cold, but they're not dead yet. And
right.
you can just ask for some Splash Mountain. You can just ask for it. I'll give it to you.
All right,
it's fine.
All of this. So all of us on this show, and presumably everyone who listens to the show, are likely Disney Parks fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
One would hope.
Wait, what?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and most of our listeners have been to both, presumably, but a majority of our listeners are Disneyland centric, mostly West Coast. But how many of us remember what it was like to go to Disneyland for the first time? Like as a full-grown...
me.
Other than you, Eric. As a full-grown adult. We have a special guest joining us today who can offer us just that. From Conciears, we have Lindsey with an I. Welcome, Lindsey.
Hi.
Welcome.
Lindsey with an I. I love it.
There's another Lindsey in the Concierge. So if you ask for Lindsey, you make sure to say Lindsey with a Y or Lindsey with an I. Now, this Lindsey has a Y in her name at the end, but not the second letter as well.
Right.
So welcome, Lindsey. You are a concierge. You also happen to be a neighbor of mine and also happen to be on the team. So we brought you on for that reason, like I just said, is that you have spent your whole life going to Disney World, right?
Yes.
Tell us about
that. Well, my parents first took me to Disney World when I was 3 or 4, and we went frequently while I was growing up. Sometimes it was, the whole family. Sometimes it was just me and my dad. Sometimes just me and my mom. But we went a lot. And after college, I actually moved to Florida for a year or so and got an annual pass and went every other weekend. Mm-hmm. I went a whole lot. And then I went to law school where you don't do anything fun.
Oh, but that's the dream, right?
For years.
To go to law school instead of Walt Disney World.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you can sue Disney.
It was way
Get
better. But then I moved back to South Georgia and I got an annual pass again. And I just kept going to Disney World. I have a daughter. She'll be 10 next month. I want to say she's been to Disney World. Yeah, she's at Jimmy's house right now. How's she doing, by the way?
I haven't seen her.
Did you kidnap her daughter just to get her on the show? What is happening?
I mean,
it's a ransom situation.
That's how we
the
get
sacrifices I make for this show.
But I want to say I've been with Kara probably 20 times, 25 times, and look, she'll be 10 next month. So we've been a lot. Yeah. I've been a lot without kids, on my own.
So you've been there a lot.
Yes.
And then we spoke at the community pool, and we were sharing each other's Disney nerdery, and you said that you've always wanted to plan Disney vacations for people, and there we are.
I did. And you were like, oh yeah, I just booked a cruise for these people. And I said, how did you do that? Are you a travel planner? And you said, yes, I am. And we're actually looking to expand our team. Would you like to do it?
And here
I said,
we are.
Yes, that sounds way more fun than being a lawyer.
That's right. And most of, no, not to say that she's not still a lawyer, but most of the people that I book for are listeners of the show. So now all those people have now met you. And if they are interested, they could ask for you specifically by name with an I.
I have a question. I'm curious, where do you think your daughter lands on the continuum between tolerating your love for Disney World and possibly loving it more than you?
I'm not sure she could love it more than me.
Okay.
Oh.
But she's definitely closer to that than she is to just tolerating it.
Okay.
Like she's going on a trip with her dad and her stepmom and her two stepbrothers in October, and she is super excited to be the tour guide because she knows everything. She knows where all the bathrooms are, and she knows the secret pathways to get through Magic Kingdom to get to the ride faster, and she's just really excited. No, not the we
She's a
haven't
cast
done
member.
that yet. She's too young for me to ruin that magic for her.
That's right. Well, I want to talk about, as much as I don't want to date the show, I want to talk about some recent good news because we've talked about it before, and I believe we made predictions that we'll never find out what we made, or when we all predicted that reservations for theme parks is largely going away. Effective January 9th, 2024, if you book a package with Disney, they're already going to know you're going to be there. So you no longer have to make reservations.
Yes, that is true. And I believe for other types of non-dated tickets, they're doing some good to go days, but we're still waiting for information on that.
And the good to go days, I think, are specifically for annual pass holders.
Annual pass holders and like people that come for sports conventions and stuff and just have undated
one-off
tickets. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The cheap seats.
The cheap seats. So, but if you have a package that Disney knows you're going to be there, you don't have to tell them which park you're going to, which day, you just show up. Which is good news. But the reason I bring it up, other than it's exciting, is we predicted this. It would happen.
And we may or may not insert a clip here of Eric and I talking about these predictions at some point in the past. But we can decide that later. We can decide that later because we're limited on time.
In 2024 in January, right, Dan?
Yeah, we didn't actually have good recording equipment back then.
Yeah, back then it was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was a bad clip. I'm sorry, Dan. I didn't put that in right.
It's fine.
So I'd be curious to see what episode that was and listen back to it. Listener, if you remember, tell us.
Call in 856.
Because I know we all predicted it would go away in some capacity. And
Wait. Dan just gave our phone number so people could call in
live. It's 856 our ears.
There we go. Thank you, Dan.
We need to get one of those app things or whatever it is on radio shows where they have the thing. It sounds like you're calling in on a phone. So that we can do, like that. We can do bits.
Hello. Yes. Caller from 856 number or 858 number rather.
My name is Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Thanks for calling.
I just wanted to let you know, I'm not a fan of your show.
Are you on the John?
You can start to go to Disney World, Walt Disney World, eventually. Under like some sort of there's a new Florida pass.
Oh, a Florida offered by the state of Florida.
We're gonna do it soon. It's a Florida thing, and you can buy it from the state of Florida, and then for an additional $50 you can go to Walt Disney World. We're inspecting their rides.
And I'm guessing the website to buy that is rondesantis2024.com.
Yeah, that's the one. Discount Walt Disney World tickets. All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks for calling.
Bye.
Yeah, the state of Florida does in fact own Disney World now. So the other thing that is exciting that I don't care about is the Disney dining plan. Now, we knew it was coming back because all the signs still say dining plan on them, even the new signs. So we all knew it was coming back.
Square.
Yes. So I've never done Disney dining plan, but I know, Lindsey, you must have. So explain what the dining plan is. We don't know what it's going to be, assuming it's something similar. I think they said something about different tier levels of dining plan.
There are in the past. Yeah, in the past, when the dining plan was a thing, they had like a quick service dining plan, and then a regular Disney dining plan, and then a deluxe dining plan, and they all had the refillable mugs that you can get at the resorts and fill up at the Coke machines and hot chocolate and coffee and all of that as much as you want during your stay. And they all had 2 snacks per person per day. And then the quick service meal plan obviously had quick service meals involved. I think there was 2 of them per day.
Like a lunch and dinner, and then
like a lunch and dinner, and you do snacks for breakfast, or just skip breakfast entirely and have coffee, like I do. And then the regular dining plan was 1 quick service and 1 table service. And then signature was 3 meals per day.
God,
table or quick service, whatever I never did that one. That one's a lot of food.
I did it once. It was wonderful when I did it.
That's a lot of food.
It's a lot of food.
You know, I would only recommend that one for people who were doing like all the hoity-toity signature dining and using 2 table service credits for dinner, because then you're still having, you know, breakfast as snacks, table service for lunch, and then 2 credits for dinner.
Right. But if you're planning on going, so that makes sense for maybe Eric, who's been 100 times, and you know he just wants to go and enjoy whatever. He's not going to miss out if he misses a bunch of rides and he's enjoying his dining. Mm-hmm. For a family of 4 who go maybe once a year, which plan do you recommend, and is it worth it?
So I've actually never done the quick service because we only started doing the dining plan after we had children. And my daughter really wanted to do the character dining experiences. So we always did the regular one so that we could have at least 1 table service meal per day to try to sneak in some characters.
Regular's pretty great.
I loved Jimmy's look of disbelief that you never did the quick service. It's like, that's the only way to do it.
No, I was shaking my head. It was not you, Lindsay. I was shaking my head because I got a notification of an email that I just received.
Okay.
I see that, but I also thought that you were shaking your head at me about the quick service.
No, I was not. Okay. I'm sorry. You know, I got an email from Bob Chapek.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And the signature, the subject line is Ron.
Oh, no.
What is it? Says, hey guys, I don't think that caller was actually a listener. Sorry. Just looking out for you all. KIT, stay sweet. XOXO Bob. Thank you, Bob.
Wow, a live listener. This is pretty rare.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well,
this is not a call-in show. No, we've already had 1 call and 1 email.
But
anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, the quick service one I think would be really great for people who are focused mainly on the rides, or maybe people who have older kids that aren't interested in doing the table service with the character meet and greets, right? Because they move a lot faster.
Yeah, and they're probably going to do quick service anyway. Right. So if they're going to do that, does it make financial sense? Is there some kind of discount structure, or is it the way I understand it is they're pricing it at if you're going to go and buy the most expensive item in that restaurant or whatever, that's how they price it. So if you get something lesser, then you're losing money. Is that true?
I don't know if they price it on the most expensive item, but it's definitely an average, and it is higher up there. So the best way to save money with the dining plan is to do things like order the steak or order like the salmon salad or whatever at the quick service restaurants. You want to order the most expensive thing to make it worth your price.
You don't
of course,
have to.
Everybody's value system is different. There are people who are out there that are like, I don't care if I'm actually spending more money using the dining plan. It's nice to have it prepaid before I go on the trip because I can budget it that way. And, you know, for people who are big on budget and don't want any surprise expenses, I highly recommend the dining plan because everything is paid for before you get there.
Right. Yeah, that is a benefit, right? Because it's like it's free at that point. It feels free because like you don't have to pull your wallet out or a magic band or whatever.
Well, I think another way of looking at the get the most expensive item thing is more like I understand that point of view. I don't necessarily have that point of view. For me, it's more like get the thing that sounds the best that will keep you going for until the next free meal because it's paid for. Well, not free, the next free meal that you've already paid for.
Right. Yeah, I think that's good. Well, I appreciate the kind of your knowledge and understanding. And listener, I think you get the idea that Lindsay knows what she's talking about. So before we get to the main topic of the show, there's a couple other things I want to address with this announcement. They've announced that basically early time and late time in the parks is going to stay the same. If you're staying on property, you get in early. If you're staying at the deluxe resorts, you get to stay in the parks multiple hours after they close on select days.
Yep.
That's already a thing. Here's the one I want to talk about. Simplifying the Disney Genie Plus experience.
Oh,
okay. I'm going to read the verbiage. We have heard from guests that they would like ways to plan with Disney Genie Plus service and individual Lightning Lane selections before the day of their park visit.
What a novel idea.
And while we don't have specifics to share yet, we want you to know that we are working on ways guests may do this for visits in 2024. We want to give guests the opportunity to spend less time planning in the park and more time enjoying their visit with friends and family. We look forward to sharing more details at a later date. Is this just FastPass Plus?
Sounds like it.
Are we back to the people staying on property get 60 days in advance?
It's Genie Plus, so you're wrong. Okay, sorry.
It sounds an awful lot like getting up 60 days ahead of time to book dining and FastPass rides.
Right. And probably 30 days. Is it 30 days for non-resort guests and 60 days for resort guests? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's what it was.
So, yeah, I don't know that I love this. I really like the equity that Disney Genie Plus offers to everyone. Not everyone necessarily, but
people who are there in the parks.
Yeah. Everybody has an equal opportunity. So I guess I kind of get dining because it doesn't bother me because I don't reserve dining usually.
But Jimmy, how much of that do you think it, and I agree with you, but I wonder how much of that is because your first park was Disneyland. So that's kind of what you're used to.
Perhaps. I think what happened was that it was so popular that when we're booking vacations for people, we could book their Genie Plus ahead of time. And so then they would not be able to sell Genie Plus day of because they would sell out or whatever. So they did away with it. So we can't book Genie Plus as vacation planners. So that way they could maximize on the fluctuation. So when I was selling it for $15 a day, now they have this, flex pricing and it could be $35. And now Disney's losing $20. So that was what I thought it was.
So it sounds like what you're kind of alluding to is they might be putting this in a situation where Disney Plus day of, if you get it day of, is functionally useless.
Genie Plus. Yes, that is what I'm saying.
What? No, Disney Plus. Disney Plus is trash. No, Genie Plus, yes.
Yeah. I don't know that. Yeah, kind of. Right. So what is the point? Because you're still going to be on your phone. You're still going to be looking at what things you have, and you're not going to be able to get more than 3, I would think.
Yeah.
30 days,
I would
60
think
days.
even if you can book it in advance, they're not going to let you book more than 3, which means that once you've done those 3, it's just going to be like the old FastPass system, and you're going to be on your phone booking your next one at a time, just like you are now. I mean, I don't know what I would have done without my battery chargers and fuel rods and everything else because my phone would have died 4 times. So,
well, that was at Disneyland, which we're not talking about yet. So don't ever bring that up.
It happened at Disney World too. It happened at Disney World too.
And the last thing, which is only relevant because of a conversation I had today. So I have a in my other world, I have an agent who is from
trying
Quebec.
to get you into more commercials.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy's
not that kind
I'm
of
pulling
agent.
for that new Cologuard commercial. For you.
So this selling commission agent lives in Quebec. And we were together, I don't know, 15 months ago in Quebec City. And we were talking about it, and, it comes up because it's my favorite subject. So we were talking about it, and he reaches out to me yesterday. He's like, hey, we're planning a trip with the family. We're going to go stay at the campsites, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So we go in this whole conversation. So like, let's set up some time on Saturday. Let's get with your wife. It's a surprise for their kids. So we're going to do the whole thing. We'll go through everything. We'll price it out and whatever. And he's like, well, we have a friend who's a vacation planner, and we already did all that. I'm like, well, okay, that's fine. If you want me to just help you with dining, you want me to help you with touring plans. And so we put an hour on the calendar today, and we went through an hour of campsites. Here's what to expect, all the questions. And they were clearly educated by someone, which turns out to be this vacation planner. So I spent an hour, do this, go here, go there kind of thing. And we talked about dining. We talked about theme park reservations and all this stuff. At the end of that hour, they're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and book it with our friend, and then we'll let you know when we're done. It's
like, oh, no.
And that friend's number is
856 our ears. But I do want to say that the reason I bring it up is 2 things. Thing number 1, part of this announcement is no longer will we get commission on the campsite. So in her face. Number 2 is that I would do that for anyone, knowing, and I have done, that they've booked it through other people, and I still did their touring plan. I still did their dining reservations. I don't get a penny but that's how much passion is on this team. And Lindsey, I think you'd probably do the same.
Yep. I did that for somebody for Disneyland last week.
There you go. And how did you know about Disneyland, Lindsey?
Because I went there.
Your attention, please.
All come to this happy place.
You went there. So I have no pre-scripted questions, but the reason we just had the conversation we did is to have our listener understand just how much depth of knowledge you have about Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're starting to plan vacations for people who maybe wanted to go to Disneyland. So you went with us, which we talked about on the last show. You went with us to Disneyland. What is your first impression?
My first impression of Disneyland before I even got in the gates was that everything was familiar, but a little weird. Mm-hmm. And that they had 100% made getting a park hopper ticket worth the cost.
Yeah. Why is that?
Because you could literally walk from the gate of Disneyland to Disney California Adventure in 30 seconds if you're a fast walker. Whereas in Disney World, they tell you to plan for at least an hour worth of Disney World travel in between parks.
It's true. What I like to say is I could be riding It's a Small World and then 10 minutes later riding Incredicoaster.
Yeah,
that are two opposite ends of two parks.
I got off of Pinocchio's Daring Journey at 8:40 at night, and I took a picture of the clock tower, and I was in the crowd for World of Color at DCA by 8:50.
10 minutes.
Well, first of all, that's how you do it.
That is how you do it.
With at least one beer in your hand. That's how I do
So
it.
to tell us about the castle, because that's usually the biggest thing. And Dan, what's your general impression of people? And then we'll get Lindsey's.
People generally that I've experienced, and this is like me walking. It's the opening, and we're all going the rope drop. That's what they call it. We're walking up Main Street, and I'm with people. I'm next to people who are from Disney World, and I hear them like almost vomit when they're like, "Ew, it's so small," and it's like with this tone or this air of somebody like trying to tell a morbidly obese person that like they're fat, as though it's like the first time anyone said anything about it.
Right. So, Lindsey, what was your impression?
I will be the first person to admit that I initially thought that it was small, and that was my first thought, but I am not rude enough to verbalize that and make other people around me feel badly, because that's awful. That is awful.
And it's like, I want to turn to the people and go like, well, you're in a different place, right?
Right.
This is Anaheim. If they could be bigger, they would make it bigger.
I mean, did you look at anything on the internet? Did you do any research before you came here?
Those are the people that have
the small castle, okay, people?
Those are the people that like have all the dish on Disney Secrets. Like, did you know their names over Main Street?
Mm-hmm. They're all stupid because it's not Florida.
That's right.
So I did initially think it was small, but I thought it was lovely. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really well done. I liked the way that they had the hub in the middle. All of it, like I said, it felt very familiar, just smaller.
Right.
And that's fine. I loved the mosaics when you walked through it.
Sure.
We've got similar stuff in the Cinderella Castle at Disney World.
Did you do the walkthrough?
I did, which was my favorite part of the castle, because the only way that you can get inside Cinderella Castle at Walt Disney World is to get that dining reservation at Cinderella's royal table.
That's right.
And even then, I mean, they take you up a flight of stairs, and it's a really cool room, don't get me wrong, and you get to eat and meet all the princesses, and it's great. But you have to pay a lot of money for it. So if you want to see it at all, you have to pay. And the Sleeping Beauty Castle, there was just this random doorway that I happened upon. I wasn't even looking for it. It was just like this magical entrance into the castle that I found. And I wandered through it, and it was kind of dark and mysterious, and they had the little dioramas and the storybook. I don't know. I just thought it was great. I loved the castle.
So what other, we're going to rapid fire on which is better in a little bit, but.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to turn my ringer off.
Is it Bob?
Let me check.
Is he checking on us again?
Oh, still ringing.
I don't know who that is.
Hey, it's Ron again.
Oh, hey, Ron.
Oh, hey, Ron. Thanks for calling back.
I just wanted to let you all know that thanks to the state of Florida, the bigger castle, we're gonna make it bigger.
Yep. And you're
Yeah,
gonna
on some turrets.
Also, it'll cost more.
Okay.
Oh.
Are you gonna add gators to the moat?
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Okay.
Are you actually allowed to make it bigger? Because I thought it was max height.
No. Disney places a lot of stupid rules on
He's
things.
gonna make it bigger and then
We're
find
gonna make
Disney.
it bigger, and we're just gonna put a bigger light on the top of it so planes don't crash into it.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. And we're gonna because freedom. And okay, thanks guys.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Bye.
I said it.
Jimmy, did you say gay?
I did.
I don't. It's a good thing you're in Georgia, where that sort of thing is allowed.
That's right. All right. Well, anyway, sorry for the disturbance, Lindsey. Wait, so, like Sleeping Beauty Castle, when you had this kind of epiphany of an exploration you weren't looking for, just stumbled upon it. Do you have any other experiences or examples of that in your trip?
Not really. Most other stuff, I was a first-time visitor. I didn't know exactly where I was going, and like I said, familiar but weird. So I actually got park maps, and it was a 100% tourist. So
I love that feeling so much.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I was a first-time visit.
You needed to know where things were.
Yeah, I got my button at Main Street.
Nice.
I got park maps, and it was great. But I went in there with a list of rides that I wanted to do, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't waste time wandering around, getting lost. So I did get a park map.
I know for me, the first time I went to Disney World, there were all these things where it's like, okay, it's different. And it's a different place. So that's fine. And I kind of enjoyed a lot of the differences, like, Pirates of the Caribbean sucking. That's fun for me. And then
We spent 2 episodes on this.
The thing that broke my brain, and I'm curious if there is a moment like this that broke your brain, was when I noticed that, first of all, there's no train in Tomorrowland, and that Space Mountain is where the train station should be. I was just like, no.
There used to be a train station at Tomorrowland.
I was about to say there used to be a train station at Tomorrowland, but then they redid the Dumbo area and made it Storybook Circus. So now the train station's there, but it's still close to Tomorrowland.
It's true. And now that walkway's open again.
That's a lovely walkway.
I miss the smoking area.
It used to be
there.
the smoking area.
I know. That was my favorite part of the film.
Those are always fun to find because there's never anybody there because Disney World put them kind of off the beaten path so that people who wanted to smoke weren't interfering with the enjoyment of the parks by others.
Right.
But if you're looking for like a nice quiet spot to eat a snack or whatever, the old smoking spots are
they were
wonderful for that.
So then you spent a day, most of us went to Universal Studios on the third day, and you stayed behind because you'd never been to Disneyland before. So tell us about that experience, because I know you were texting all of us, saying, I found this, I did this, or whatever. Tell us about your sort of takeaways from a day at Disneyland by yourself.
So I did everything that I could, single rider. I was texting Eric and I was like, is there anything else that's single rider besides Space Mountain? So that made things go a lot quicker. I got to try out the Genie Plus system in Disneyland as compared to Disney World. And it was a lot more efficient. I actually made it through all of my Genie Plus rides that I wanted to do by like 7 o'clock at night. Whereas in Disney World, half the stuff you want to do is sold out by 9 a.m.
And we haven't, at one point I went through both maps and I counted attractions, and I'm like 99% sure Disneyland actually has more attractions in the resort than does Disney World. So like, I was talking to that client today. I was talking about getting Genie Plus in Magic Kingdom. And when we did it on one of the most crowded days, we did 17 attractions because we had Genie Plus.
Yep.
But if you did it at any other theme park, you couldn't do 17 because there aren't 17 to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You
Magic
did 9
Kingdom definitely has the most
Right.
Genie Plus rides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, but you think it's worth it for Disneyland goers?
I think it's definitely worth it for Disneyland goers because you get to skip a lot of the lines, especially if you're not gung-ho into Fantasyland. If you're into more of the thrill ride type, then definitely. If you're looking to do Fantasyland rides because you've got little kids, maybe not Genie Plus in Disneyland, just because most of the Fantasyland rides did not have the Genie Plus option.
Right.
And I asked somebody why that was, and they said that
space for it.
It's because they don't have space to add a second line.
I actually am of the mind of that. I get what you're saying, but as somebody who goes to Disneyland like all the time, I actually think if you are into those Fantasyland things, you're still good to get Genie Plus because you can start booking things for later.
Right.
While you're in Fantasyland, while every line except for Peter Pan is really short.
Oh yeah.
That's true. If you're gonna rope drop, you could hit Fantasyland first and just start stacking lightning lanes for later.
Like what I do is generally, if you get Pirates, Jungle Cruise, and whatever Fantasyland rides you want done before like 11, and you have Genie Plus, the rest of the day is easy.
Yeah, but you have to do Pirates first.
Well, if you're with me.
And why is that, Dan?
Well, yeah,
because thematically speaking, it is the best way to introduce yourself to a fantasy environment by starting out in what is basically a real world environment and then splashing into a fantasy environment.
Ooh, splashing into.
Yeah, he loves using that word.
Yeah, yeah. So Runaway Railway doesn't do it.
Actually, I have been considering that, and I think that could. I was tossing that around in my head weirdly last time I went. I was like, this one I think also qualifies.
Wow.
I mean, the queue, if you go through the queue, there's so much real world / cartoon stuff.
Well,
and then you go into the cartoon world.
Yeah. Well, you get the transition from the entry to Toontown with the little audio curtain that it has. And that you're basically walking that journey into a fantasy environment.
Right. Which is the idea of that.
I would not recommend for touring or crowd purposes. I would not recommend doing Mickey and Minnie's first.
Well, that's
do it during a parade.
Yeah.
Especially with it being so new, because everybody's going to try to go do it.
100%.
Right. So we haven't done that episode yet on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but what was your impression of the Disneyland version?
Oh no.
I'm hiding because I did not ride the Disneyland version.
Oh no.
I showed up late on that Monday because I was taking my red-eye Spirit nightmare flight.
So you couldn't tell them to fly faster?
So everybody
what's
rode
the deal?
it without me, and I did not go back and ride it again because I was told that the ride essentially was the same as the one in Disney World. It's just the queue that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to wait an hour just to see a different line.
I suspect it's going to be one of those episodes that's going to really be determined by the queue that we're going to turn into a 3-part series.
It's going to have to be, yeah.
And why not 4, Jimmy? Why not 4?
Comedy comes in 3s.
Why not 4?
And for those of you listening who don't know this, especially if you're used to Disney World, the line at Mickey and Minnie's, if you watch the app, it will get down to 20-30 minutes regularly throughout the day, and it's usually in connection to when a parade's happening or whatever, and it's that 20 or 30 minutes is painless with the queue.
All right, well, stay tuned, Eric. I was listening to the Hub Crawl. I think it was with Robert. Ryan, excuse me, I do that all the time.
Which R-name guy did I have on the show that week? Yeah,
Ryan was your co-host, and I believe you said we did 6-part episode on Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
6-part. Did we do 6 or did we do 6 hours?
Did 6 hours.
We did 6.
We did 6 hours.
3 parts.
We didn't do 6 episodes.
3 parts, 6 hours.
3 parts.
Only 3 parts?
Yeah. Remember, it was our trilogy.
Yeah, and that's what we said. We were thinking about doing 2 more trilogies. We just have to figure out
which we should.
All right.
Sorry for being inaccurate on a different
this is a
show.
past show correction for a Hub Crawl
other
on the
shows.
Supreme Resort. All right. So they have nothing to do with Ears Up. Don't listen to them.
Do I need to any other past show corrections I need to do?
Not that I'm aware of. But for now, Eric and Dan, do you have any other questions for Lindsey?
Not currently off the top of my head. No.
Okay.
Did you have a churro?
Oh,
did.
yes. Good one.
Good
We
one.
haven't done that episode
Did you have a
either.
churro?
Tell
Did
us
you
about
see
the
a cat?
churros.
There we go.
There you go.
I don't remember seeing a cat. I saw a duck.
Yes, you
Not
did.
the
It
same
was your
thing.
biggest
I
post.
saw a duck. It was my most popular post. Like 120 people that I don't know have liked my video of a duck wandering through Main Street. But then
While
the
you
actual
shouted quack at
content, yeah, while I chased it and quacked at it, they like that. But then I post actual useful content about the announcements that Disney World has made, and people are like, whatever. So
I'm actually curious. Did you notice any differences with like the general vibe of the place, like the cast members, the way character interactions are done there, like that kind of stuff?
Character interactions, yes, because at Disney World, if a character pops out, there's like immediately a 30 to 45 minute long line to meet them. And in Disneyland, it just seemed a lot more casual.
Yeah,
like they were just walking around and, and saying hi to everybody. And if they stopped, you could get a picture or whatever. And sometimes they're, especially for the classic characters and the princesses, I would see a line forming, but it was never more than 15 or 20 minutes.
What I love is some of the characters, especially around Fantasyland, like they'll just be wandering around and it's almost like you don't want to disrupt them because they seem to be having so much fun. Just
right. I saw a video of Alice riding in the teacups and I was like, that's awesome. And that would never happen at Disney World because everybody would be jumping in the teacup with her.
Right.
So for the record, you're saying that this is an experience you did not enjoy and Walt Disney World is better, right?
I think she's saying the opposite.
I'm actually saying the opposite for character interaction.
So real quick, back to churros.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
The churros are blank in Disneyland.
The churros in Disneyland are the only ones I've ever tried because I am not a churro fan. I don't know. It's just never interested me in Disney World. It's always so hot in Florida that when I have the chance to get a snack, I want ice cream.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. So I've never had a churro.
Well, you know what? Spoilers for that episode, but you didn't miss anything. Don't buy churros at Disney World. Did you enjoy it a little bit?
I did. I got it from the Cozy Cone restaurant area in DCA, and it was good. I didn't really care for the dipping sauce, but the churro itself was great.
Yeah, you shouldn't need
the dipping sauce. Isn't anything.
Yeah.
Just eat the churro.
It tasted like half melted caral, and I was like, whatever. The churro itself was wonderful, and I was very excited to try it.
Yeah, we were standing there. I almost ordered from Cozy Cone. I've yet to eat anything from a cone.
That was after I saw Lindsey go up to the Cozy Cone. That was the first time I have also had anything from Cozy Cone. And when I got the dipping sauce from my churro, I went, let's try it. Throw it away. I don't need this. I wasted plastic.
The dipping sauce to me feels like the secret menu at In-N-Out. Just like, so what? You saw something. Just eat the churro. Shut up.
Eat the churro. And you shouldn't have to. If it's a good churro, you don't need anything. It's like when you go to a steak place and they ask you what your topping is going to be. It's like,
or if you want steak sauce.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
If I need a topping, then it's not a good steak.
Yeah. If I need steak sauce, you have failed.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I failed. Either way. Something is wrong.
That's right. Okay, well then we want to go through. I'm gonna rapid fire some things at you, and you're gonna tell us top of your head which is better between Disneyland and Disney World, and we're gonna see if we remember what actually won.
I think I can remember. This is one of those weird places where my memory is very good.
I have to remember back to when I was a listener for some of these. I'm sure.
I'm gonna have to remember whether I actually wrote it.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hide. How do I?
Primeval Whirl versus Goofy Sky School.
Goofy Sky School, only because I wrote it with you and Jimmy.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to pull
friends.
Hashtag
Primeval
friends.
Whirl is currently a pile of rubble, so Goofy Sky School wins by default.
I'm so sad that they whatever company that built that thing went under.
What was previously
we used to love
a pile
riding the
of
Crazy
Supreme.
Mouse at the fairs, and it's basically the same
I love
thing.
wild mouses, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm going to have to do is...
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to get the ride. So we have a column that said which one, Disneyland or Disney World.
I'm telling you, I will most likely remember.
Yeah,
just I know my memory is just absolute trash.
And as long as you're not talking about...
I have this one.
Yeah, as long as Dan doesn't have to decide whether or not it's a wild mouse, we're good.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what?
So wait, if I say that I liked one better than the other, but I disagree with you guys, does that make me wrong?
No.
It depends on which one.
Yes, it does. Supreme Resort. Okay, so how about Buzz Lightyear? Did you do it?
I did it. Better at Disneyland.
Why?
We had Disney World won that one.
Did you really?
Yes.
I liked Disneyland because I could lift the gun off of the stupid thing.
Totally.
And actually hold it.
I think at the end, the rationale was because it shouldn't exist in Tomorrowland at all.
It was
in either place. And at Disney World, it exists in this little like pocket place that just kind of is out of the way.
Even though it used to have wings.
Right.
It did have wings at one point. You already mentioned the castles. You liked Sleeping Beauty better.
Aesthetically, I like Cinderella's castle better.
Okay. We agreed.
However, the activities and things that you can do and the ability to go in Sleeping Beauty Castle, I like that better.
Beyond just small, it's charming.
Right.
But as what we determined on our show, first episode, is that as a weenie, which is the function of the castle, Disney World performs better. Its weenie performs better. Does not need blue chew.
Okay.
All right. Disneyland Hotel versus Contemporary. You did remember
I don't think we went in the Disneyland Hotel.
Oh, you weren't there for that tour. Yeah.
Well, Eric, you did that tour, didn't you? But we just kind of stood outside.
Yeah, we just kind of stood outside. It was very rushed.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a rushed tour. It was a weird day.
Yeah.
Running between places.
That was really weird. But we'll leave that criticism out of this recording. Food and wine festivals. You were there for Food and Wine Festival. Did you sample any, and which was better, Epcot or DCA?
I did not try any of the foods or wines at DCA because that day was kind of pre-planned and it was, I don't know. I just didn't.
Which resort?
I ate at other places.
Which resort has better Frontierlands?
I would say Disney World.
Wow.
Yes.
Because I didn't even recognize that I was going into a Frontierland in Disneyland.
I mean, what I'm saying is, how did you even know you were there?
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's no sign.
I mean, I realized that there was like a quick service Mexican place and Big Thunder Mountain right there together. But past that, I didn't really see, and a shooting gallery. But past that, I was
gallery.
like,
Shoot-in.
Big Thunder.
I don't know.
Or Golden Horseshoe.
Golden Horseshoe.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like it was just kind of stuck there.
No, so you're saying Disneyland was the one where you were like, oh wait, am I in Frontierland?
Right, and because Disney World, it's very obvious that you're moving from Liberty Square into another area,
despite the lack of
there's no sign that says you're going into Frontierland.
Yeah.
There is no sign, but it's a very obvious thematic change to me.
Sure. Dan has something to say.
No, I
he
wonder.
Needs to go to the bathroom.
No, well, I did while I was making that face. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without sounding like I'm accusing anyone of anything. I wonder how much of that is like what you're used to, or what everyone is
100%. Yeah, and that's there's going to be some bias, right? There's going to be some loyalty bias, but we're just going off the cuff. Galaxy's Edge, which is better?
I didn't even go in the one at Disneyland.
Okay.
I was told that it was exactly the same as Disney World, so I chose to spend my time elsewhere.
6 hours of content that begs to differ.
Yeah.
That's what I just heard.
Okay, Grand Californian Hotel versus Grand Floridian.
Ooh, that's hard.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know. That's wow.
Or what do you think were some strong points of each? And if you can't get to a what's better, then whatever.
Well, the Grand Floridian has really good dining. I mean, like really good dining.
Oh yeah.
I've never eaten there, but Victoria and Albert's is there, so it's known for its dining, and
just
it's
raise
one
your hand
monorail.
there, Jimmy. Yeah,
it's one monorail stop away from Magic Kingdom. It has the wedding pavilion. I mean, it's just a really nice property.
Grand Californian also has fine dining,
but Grand Californian also had great dining. I ate it. I ate at Storybook,
and you can walk into a theme park.
Yeah. And you can walk into a theme park from the hotel, which I did, and that was very convenient. So,
all right,
and it looked a lot like it looked a lot like the Wilderness Lodge, which I love. I adore the Wilderness Lodge. So I would probably give that one to Grand Californian.
Grand Californian, interesting.
I think so.
Incredicoaster versus Rock and Roller Coaster.
Ooh. I like Rock and Roller Coaster better. Simply because I'm a big Aerosmith fan and I like the music. Yes. And I like that I love that it's in the dark.
Is that what won? I don't remember.
No, I think
it did.
Incredicoaster.
Disney, Rock and Roller Coaster.
It won over Incredicoaster, yeah.
Oh, okay. Even though I think we decided Incredicoaster is a better coaster.
It's a better ride.
It's a longer ride.
A better overall experience went to Rock and Roller Coaster.
That's right.
Yeah.
Indy versus Dinosaur.
Indy, no question.
Okay, amen.
How about
did you ride Web? Web
Slingers? Yes, I did. Despite being told by other people that I shouldn't because it was a waste of time.
Jimmy, I want to ask this one.
Please.
What attraction do you think that we put that one against at Disney World?
Oh no.
Keeping in mind that it's sort of like what do they call it? It's a convention. It's the
World Engineering Brigade. Yes.
Which feels...
What would make the most sense to put it up against to you?
It's a ride housed within a sort of convention of sorts.
Jimmy is giving you more help than I was
get a hint of like park?
It's a very clear 1-to-1.
It's a ride inside of a...
Come on.
It's like I don't want to say the word institute, but it is kind of like an institute. The Worldwide Engineering Brigade is like an institute. And there's a ride.
Did y'all put it against Figment?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
But they're so different.
They're the same.
But there was no other way to do it.
Not the same.
And you can tell us what you like better.
Shove your hands at Figment when you're on the ride.
That's right.
Only people that are angry.
So which is better, Figment or Web Slingers?
Figment.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's my favorite.
Web Slingers won.
So Web Slingers is by far a better ride, but I can't put anything above Figment. I'm sorry. It's my favorite ride.
Web Slingers won.
I do think that Web Slingers is a better ride than the Figment ride in its current iteration. But I have a lot of nostalgia for Figment and I can't.
I'm going to re-listen to that episode. I'm pretty sure.
Anything.
All right. So unless you have something specific, I'm just going to rapid fire. Okay. Jungle Cruise.
Same. I don't know. Oh. Disneyland had piranhas, and that was pretty cool. Yep. I don't remember Disney World having piranhas.
No, it has more show scenes, though.
Jimmy, I can see you on the dock.
It did have the, you went through the cave with the snakes and stuff. I don't know. I like Disney World's version.
Okay.
I'm highlighting what I want you to do next.
Okay. Grizzly River Rapids. She didn't do it. That's why I skipped it.
Oh, okay.
You didn't do Grizzly River, did you?
Absolutely, I did.
Oh, Grizzly River Rapids versus Kali River Rapids.
Grizzly.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Which broke my daughter's heart, by the way.
Yeah.
That was the first thing she asked me when I got home was whether I liked Grizzly or Kali better, because Kali is her favorite ride in any of the 4 theme parks.
So far, you're pretty correct thus far. Which has a better Main Street?
Disney World.
Yeah.
Which has a better haunted mansion?
Oh, no.
California.
Thank you. And why?
Because you guys have the Hatbox Ghost, but we're getting the Hatbox Ghost,
That's true.
and then
And
we'll be
why
better.
else?
Is that
Retrial.
So we get the Hatbox Ghost, then what?
Then what?
Then Disney World is better. Why?
No.
Then Disney World is just better because it's essentially the same ride.
It's not.
Disneyland has the holiday layover, but I've heard that it takes a long time to put that up and take it down. Exactly. So it's either closed or not Haunted Mansion for a large portion of the year.
Most of the year.
That said, I love Nightmare, and I would have really enjoyed to do the holiday overlay.
What else does Disneyland's Haunted Mansion have that Disney World's doesn't?
She doesn't know.
I don't know.
It has a speed ramp.
Hold on.
Speed ramp? What's a speed ramp?
You come out from beneath
exactly
the ghostly world. You come out of a grave. You are not. Look back, it's a tomb.
You're just coming back up.
Look behind you. It is a tomb.
They took you downstairs and they have to take you back up somehow.
And they found a creative thing to do with it.
So it's like the ramps that come out of Pirates and Magic Kingdom?
It's a tomb.
It's a conveyor belt. Okay.
It's
only
a moving
4
sidewalk.
hours on Pirates.
Which has a better monorail?
Easy. Walt Disney World.
New Orleans Square or Liberty Square?
New Orleans Square.
Mm-hmm.
Some people agree. Winnie the Pooh. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
I don't think I rode that one at Disneyland. Okay. I've ridden it at Disney World. It's
Pirates of the Caribbean.
What if you could ride the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and only wait like 15 minutes?
Maybe even less.
That would probably make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although waiting in line at Walt Disney World is not as bad because they've got all the interactive components in that queue.
There you go.
Disneyland did in fact win. If you have the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh next to Splash Mountain, what do you ride first?
Splash.
No, it's Pooh then Splash.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
That's physics.
It's Pooh then Splash.
That's how
I get it. Sorry, took me a minute.
It's okay if you don't get it, listener.
So provided it's still open, Primeval Whirl versus Goofy Sky School.
Sky School.
Because you rode it with us?
Yes, and because I'm not really a dinosaur fan.
Okay. Radiator Springs Racers or Test Track?
Radiator Springs.
It's a tomb. You come out of a tomb.
Thanks, Dan.
It does look like a crypt, Dan. We don't disagree with you.
It kind of looks like a mausoleum. You're right.
Exactly. And the stretching room is actually an elevator, so you could go down further, and it's creepier.
Didn't you decide? Weren't you the judge?
Why would I be the judge for that show?
Judge.
Jeremy was the judge, and Jeremy was the.
I wasn't there. I don't know.
Oh, he was the executioner. Was I the judge?
Yeah.
God, I was afraid of that guy. Okay, almost done. Rivers of America, which is better?
I would say Disneyland, just because you guys have more options. You've got the steamboat, you've got the tall ship, you've got the canoes.
Correct.
There's just more to do.
That one's a tough call, but it's kind of what you're looking for.
Space Mountain.
Gotta love that queue.
Absolutely Disneyland.
Why?
The queue.
Because the last time I rode Space Mountain in Disney World, I literally had to crawl out of the spaceship because it messed my back up so bad I could not walk.
Ooh, the Matterhorn.
Which is why I did not ride the Matterhorn. I mean, it was closed when we were there, but even if it had been open, I would not have ridden it because I'd heard that it was the same type of deal.
Yeah. Okay, a couple of randos. Star Tours.
Didn't ride it. Don't really like it in Disney World. Didn't ride it in Disneyland.
Gasp.
Sorry.
Did you ride Splash Mountain?
Yes.
Which is better?
I like Disney World's version better.
Why?
Because of the ride vehicle.
Oh, Damn it.
Oh, no, Dan.
Interesting, Dan. That was Dan's whole argument.
Not my whole argument. Just
I
significant
did
part
not
of it.
like the instability I felt in the single
If you were riding on a log
log flume. I felt like I was going to fall over and flip into the water, and it was just bad.
Okay,
and that may have been James rocking the log flume in the front.
Probably
but,
not me, by the way.
So okay, but let's say you were in the wild with all of your forest critter friends, and they said, "Hey, let's go ride a log together." You would expect it to be, first of all, single file because it's a log, and second,
Unless
would
it's
be
a big log.
unstable.
Depends on how big the tree is.
It wouldn't be
The trees
safe.
in Florida are bigger, Dan.
What are
Relax.
you talking about? Like a redwood? Like it wouldn't be safe to have two people side by side on a log. These are critters. They don't know how to make seats.
How
They
do
don't
you
have
explain the one at
opposable thumbs
Disneyland?
except kind of the raccoons. A little
Kind of. Finally, Tower of Terror or Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout.
I knew you were going to ask me this one. I don't like either.
Oh,
But if I had to pick one, I would probably pick Tower of Terror.
Okay, last one. Let's pretend Illuminations is still a thing.
Oh God!
World of Color or Illuminations?
World of Color.
Oh,
Well, you're in luck because I'm sure it's coming to the Epcot.
I'm pretty excited, actually. I think World of Color would be great for Epcot with the,
I think that's what
Absolutely.
they
with the
tried
World
to
Showcase
do.
Lagoon.
Yeah,
I think that
they
would,
tried to do that and it failed. And I think they're going to do water mist screens.
I'm curious if you agree with my sort of general take on World of Color. It's like it's the weird, very creative kid in the class that like got the assignment, understood the assignment, and was like, I'm going to do that. But it's also that assignment kind of sucks. So I'm going to do it in this weird way that like is
makes it
completely
better.
my own thing. Yeah, I love that about it.
Okay, well, Lindsey, thank you so much for your time. This was very enjoyable. It's great to kind of pick the brains from someone who's never been to Disneyland just to get their immediate impressions without a lot of like deep dive analysis, what we do on the show. But it seems like we were mostly right.
Well, congratulations.
Would you like to pick our brains as resident Disneyland experts for anything that you might want to know about, like which ride to ride first, like Pirates?
We already
for
got
example. Did you enjoy
I was about to
Pirates?
say, you already
more?
told me to ride Pirates. Maybe Mickey and Minnie.
And we didn't say, but Pirates is better where?
I actually enjoy it better at Disney World.
And we're out of time. Thank you, Lindsey, for
Sorry.
joining us. So thank you, Lindsey. You were great. I really appreciate all your knowledge. And if you are if you were looking to go to Disneyland or Disney World, you know the person to speak to. That's Lindsey with an I. Guys, we have a new review that I would like to read from Apple. What do they call it?
Apple reviewed us?
Apple. Well, no, not
The ghost of Steve Jobs.
Not what's the goop lady? What's her name?
Gwyneth Paltrow?
Not Gwyneth Paltrow's daughter. Her name is Apple. Leslie Seacliff. Leslie Seacliff says, my favorite Disney podcast. I wasn't sure how anyone would pull off a podcast like this, but these guys have nailed it. Amazingly deep dives into each topic without pretentiousness and a unique sense of humor that is just like my own. I feel right at home listening to them, and it's all so fascinating and funny, I can't get enough. I didn't expect to laugh so hard at the holiday overlay episode.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Chief,
it was hilarious.
No name. No. Name? No. Yeah, Chief Name.
And I really enjoyed the clickbaity garbage segments.
Hell yeah.
That's coming back.
Ooh.
I'm laughing and rolling my eyes at these quote unquote articles. Overall, keep it all coming. I love it and can't wait for more 5 stars.
By the way, not that it matters, but for what it's worth, whoever that is, I hope you're listening currently. That is exactly the kind of review that I personally hope to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's deep dive. It's not pretentious. It's, we do some random stuff, but it's never always the same. It's never mundane. Well, I was hoping that she would say she liked the the
Six Flags show?
takeover.
Oh yeah.
Butts up.
Butts up. Not a lot of people. I think a lot of people haven't noticed that even exists on their feed. Anyone who is a fan of Asher, and I know there are many of you, me basically. April 1st. Go to April 1st. Asher has given us a delightful takeover.
I listened to it again on Friday.
There was a takeover of all the Ears Up Network shows, which we
were hoping Jason would acknowledge them, but
no, why would he? Because that means other people are getting acknowledged. Excuse me. All right, I'm logging in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to log into Megaphone so that I can tell you just how many people listened to that episode, Daniel. Well, I have to create a new password. Never mind. A lot of people listened. The end.
Asher's asleep anyway.
It was like in top 10 over the last 30 days or something. It's
Lindsey, I'm sorry. Asher couldn't be here to help with the show today.
Yeah, Asher could not be here. He's our producer, the guy who's head of Ears Up Network, his nephew, and he comes in and like audits the show.
Mm-hmm.
He did a takeover of the show. It's very short. You should listen to it.
Yeah, Sam, edit this part out. This is irrelevant. Yeah. Nobody cares about this. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Sam.
Eric, do you want to talk about your jury duty?
What kind of trial was it?
It was a murder trial.
Dun, dun, dun. What?
Okay. Who did it? Who done it?
What room and what weapon?
Yes.
It was a rough week. I spent 5 days on a trial.
Are there images burned into your mind that you wish could be unburned?
Absolutely.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah.
What was the weapon? What was the weapon?
There are images of a dead person that I will never forget, and the weapon was a car.
Oh, is it like that movie Stand By Me? Like I'll never get that vision out of my head. Ray Brower.
Yeah,
like that, or more gruesome.
You know what? If I'm left with an image in my brain forever, this one will supersede anything from Stand By Me.
Okay.
For faux show.
All right. Yeah. Well, we're gonna stop holding Lindsey hostage.
Let me guess, because it's real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was bad.
Lindsey's
it was
a lawyer.
real bad.
Lindsey, who do you think did it?
And in which room? With what weapon?
I always go for Professor Plum.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
In the conservatory.
Is that who it was, Eric?
With the candlestick?
No, with the car.
With the car.
With the car in this case.
That's when you combine Monopoly with Clue.
No, the conservatory's got those nice glass windows. It's perfect for a car.
Oh yeah, I'm laughing, but this is emotionally scarring.
It is very tragic. I'm sorry. We're not trying to make light of anyone.
Do you wish it was a poisoning? Like I joked in our chat that it might have been like it was a Victorian era court and it was a poisoning.
Oh, that was the joke. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I wish it was, because then the images. Yes.
Those are a lot less gruesome looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a person who might be sleeping.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I do not mean to make light of the dead, and I apologize.
But I do, but I also apologize.
No, it's okay. And I'm glad you brought it up, because it was a unique experience, and I never hoped that I would have something like this happen to me, to be involved in a jury like this. And certainly I would hope that this type of crime would not happen, thus necessitating a jury.
The jury, yeah,
like this. But please don't neglect your jury duty, people. You are necessary, and the justice system requires random people to show up and
jury of your peers.
Yeah, and to think about things and listen to evidence and make a judgment. Like it's super important, and it's unfortunate. It's horrific in some circumstances. Or it could be like the trial that I was on 10 years ago, where it was just a DUI sort of thing. Like, okay, nobody got hurt. All right, here's where we go. It's important either way. Like you should you should do it. I don't know why I'm making a PSA right now, other than
this is the Supreme Resort, which is a play on the Supreme Court. So
that's why
we use a lot of legalese in this episode. We have lawyers as guests exclusively.
And I do not mean to make light or make jokes of that kind of stuff. It's,
this has been
I agree.
Eric's civic duty spotlight.
If no reasonable people serve on jury duty, then that means that nothing but unreasonable people are serving on jury duty.
There we go. This is my theme song. I didn't put it
civic
on.
Duty spotlight.
Civic duty spotlight.
You said duty.
All right, we gotta leave. We gotta let Lindsey off the. Okay, so we have other shows on the network. That's Ears Up in Depth. We have Puny Pod, which is a Marvel released in order podcast. A lot of deep dive, fun stuff. Maybe things you didn't know about. It's a lot of, they do their work, they do their research, and they really break down where the comic, sort of the comic sources of the material and how it differs and that kind of thing. So it's a good show. I've listened to a few of them and it's good. Also we have Bant the Milk podcast, which is a Star Wars podcast, and we have Scraping the Vault, where we will be watching and releasing Mamma Mia.
Yeah, Sarah will be so happy.
That was because of Sarah.
Any fans of Dan Hates the Beatles, I feel like you're really going to like this episode.
And please rate and review us like Leslie Seacliff did. We really appreciate that. Feedback really helps. And oh boy, not again. Caller, thanks for calling. Yep, I said thanks for calling.
Apparently you didn't pick up.
Hello?
Hi, caller.
Yeah, how can I help you?
Oh, we're calling him.
Thank you for calling.
You know, my favorite joke on those things is long time caller, first time listener.
I'll take the answer off the air. Thank you. Long time, first time. Bye-bye.
Oh, weird. All right. This is not a live show.
No, it's not. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening. Be good to each other. And until next time, court is adjourned.
Fresh break.
All right. Are you picking up Kara or am I taking Kara home?
Whichever's easiest for you.
Well, we have another hour
Eric,
before we have to leave for dinner.
Please leave this in.
Oh, this is in.
Okay, good.
We have an hour before we leave for dinner. So either she stays for another hour and I take her home, or you pick her up. It's your call.
Ask her if she wants to go to the pool now or if she wants to play with your kid for an hour.
You're listening to a special preview of the Supreme Resort.
What pool?
After hours.
What pool is she going to go to?
Morning View. It opened today.
It opened today?
You can also listen,
guys, we
to
can go swimming.
Conversation, just like
Paxton was super excited. He didn't know.
For free.
I was going to say, perhaps.
If you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, I would love to
I will
pay
text
for
you
this
the
content,
answer, and on the next episode of the Supreme Resort, our listeners will find out.
The Patreon for
Stay tuned.
Ears Up. Because it's over now. You've been listening to a special preview, a free view, if you will,
push
of the
stop
Supreme
soon.
Resort. After hours.
Eric, not Dan.